Governor Pete Ricketts, a Republican of Nebraska and a member of the National Governors Association's Economic Development and Commerce Committee. Governor Ricketts welcome us, but I'm my head's spinning now trying to figure out how to do this properly. It's amazing that this is a partisan issue too somehow. And I just think we need to fix a lot of these things and put the politics aside. Can we do that, you think?
Well, and I think that's really what transportation bill offers the opportunity to do, is really get that bipartisan support. Our U.S. Senator Deb Fischer has talked about how we can bring together that bipartisan support, maybe in a tax bill that would help draw in some Republicans and Democrats both. It is certainly something that we need to invest in. Here in Nebraska, we've taken the initiative when the federal government wasn't doing these sort of things. Last year, we passed the Transportation Innovation Act that will invest $450 million in our roads and bridges here in the state. As a state that relies on agriculture and manufacturing, it's important that we have a transportation infrastructure to be able to get our goods to market. So when the federal government really hasn't been picking up the ball over the last 8 years or so, we've been stepping in as states, Nebraska's not alone, in really trying to make some of that investment so that we can continue to make sure we've got the proper infrastructure and grow our states.
But even the notion that you're saying right now, and that is that the states can do it, and then the federal government's role is primarily regulatory, people would have a problem. Some people on the other side of the aisle from where you are would have a problem with that. They want more federal involvement.
Well, that's where maybe we just have to beg to differ on that one, because I think that the states are going to know best about what to do. I mean, we've got some of the cleanest air in Nebraska. We are stewards of the land because we depend on agriculture, so we want to take care of the environment. We're not going to do anything to endanger that. What we think is best is to give the states the opportunity to really manage it. For example, Nebraska has applied for a NEPA assignment to be able to get more flexibility from the federal government on regulatory issues and environmental issues. We're actually passing some legislation to be able to do that right now. And frankly, we know what's going to work best in our states, and that's where we'd like to have that flexibility from the federal government. So we think that's a good thing. And where we would like to see is just more help from the federal government on transportation. It is something that will help us grow our economy if we have that proper infrastructure. And I'm sure you've probably talked about a lot of the different things when it comes to the assessment of how much money we need to invest in our infrastructure nationwide.
Well, what type of help are you talking about? You just mean additional money, Governor?
Yeah, I mean, some of the things that the Trump administration has talked about with their $1 trillion investment over the next 10 years in different aspects of infrastructure to be able to, invest in our country. I think that's a good thing. And again, if we can put that together in a tax bill or something like that to be able to get that bipartisan support, I think we've got the opportunity to build that coalition and get a bill passed.
You think the governors are going to be, I mean, I would think governors might even, in the pecking order, be above, the House and the Senate on this. Do you feel like you're getting your due respect on this? I would defer to governors on how to do that, bring them all in and figure out how to do it that way, and then talk to everybody else.
Well, I would agree with you 100% on that. I think the governors really have it going on. But actually, I would say one of the things that really...
You even know where everything is, don't you? You know what, you drive over the potholes.
That's right.
I don't understand why it wouldn't be you guys, but it's not, I don't think, because the federal government loves control.
Actually, that's a great point, because let's avoid the mistakes of the Obama administration. When they went to their shovel-ready projects, what that really did was it went toward essentially maintenance projects. It really wasn't done strategically because it was done in a hurry. We need to be thoughtful about how we make this investment and make sure it's going to the things that are really going to be long-term effective to growing our economy. And that's where you do want the governors to weigh in on this, because, the thing about governors is we actually have to get things done. We're held accountable for getting things done because that's what the voters expect of us. And so we'll put together the plans that are going to work best for our states, and that's where, again, we're looking for is that cooperation from the federal government. And I will say that, on a different topic, when we're talking about health care, even though the health care bill didn't pass, I will tell you that we have seen much more communication with the federal administration and the governors seeking our input on what this health care reform should look like. And we'd like the same sort of opportunity for transportation as well, because, again, I agree with you. I think the governors know best about what's going on. We're the ones held accountable for getting things done. So come to us, because we know what we can do best.
It's kind of a right brain, left thing. And I just noticed with DNC Chair Perez that there's a way you can look at infrastructure. I was thinking we need to fix all these things and for the good of society, and that everything's run down. But sometimes the Democrats, it's really about a way to create government jobs. Almost seems to be the priority. And then, what actually happens from doing the infrastructure projects is almost secondary or third. And along with that comes, you can't try to have, any type of hold down wages or get things in on time or maybe scrimp on it, try to get the best price on materials. It's all about just, you could dig holes and fill them back up if all you wanted to do was create jobs and don't even use tablespoons. Use teaspoons. I mean, and you can employ even more people. But you understand that that's sort of the dynamic that goes into this. Should we look at it as a way to create federal jobs, or should it be to do the needed repairs on all of our infrastructure? And then, because the private sector should create the jobs. I mean, it's good that they come from this, but that shouldn't be the primary reason, should it?
No, not at all. I mean, you're exactly right. That really gets back to my comment about let's be thoughtful, let's take our time and be strategic about the types of projects we want to do so that they really add value. Again, the problem with the previous administration when they went to shovel-ready projects is that they were in a hurry, and it was more of a jobs program, and it ended up just being maintenance. It wasn't really strategic about where we applied those dollars. And that's what we want to do, is we want to make sure we're being good stewards of the dollars for the taxpayer. I can tell you that's one of the things the taxpayers in my state want me to do. They hold me accountable for making sure that we spend the dollars wisely. And so we should be doing the same thing for the federal government with regard to that. And again, this gets back to why we as states, we want to have that flexibility. Give us the responsibility. We're not trying to shirk any oversight here, but let us have the freedom to be able to invest those dollars the way we think is going to be best employed in our state, and give us the freedom when it comes to streamlining regulations, environmental reviews. I'll tell you, one of the things we just had is we got a South Beltway project in the city of Lincoln, and the estimate has gone up by 50% in part because of time goes by, but in large part because of the environmental issues that we've got to overcome. Bridges have to be longer to avoid wetlands. We've got beetles we got to be worried about, things like that. Again, give us the flexibility in the states to really kind of work around some of those things, and we'll come up with better solutions that will be more cost effective. Yes, we'll create jobs along the ways, but we're actually going to make investments that really help grow our economy.
All right, Governor, before you go, I want to settle up on that bet we made. It actually wasn't.
Yeah, where's my ribs?
They're coming. Did you see my I DM'd you because we follow each other, and you never answered until finally I see it today. So I'm going to send you some Montgomeryan ribs that are unbelievable. You just 3 minutes on each side, and you got to use the Montgomeryan sauce, and you got to heat up the sauce. You got to heat up the sauce. All right.
Oh, okay. That's key.
You definitely got to heat up the sauce. I'll make sure
I do that.
But you know what? You won in the tournament beforehand, and then you didn't go. Creighton sort of disappointed me in the tournament, and X went much further. Did you see it? So I feel like I kind of won. I think you maybe owe me something. X went much further. They went to the Elite Eight.
I'm not sure that's the way that works. I think you actually have to make the bet to be able to collect on it. You can't just make stuff up afterwards.
Did you watch that game, though, the one that we bet on? It was the last, 10 seconds. You hit it was horrible. It was horrible the way Creighton finally won. And then they didn't really show up for Villanova either, right?
All right, so yeah, they kind of checked out after that. But but that's history. Who's your pick for the tournament now?
We're going to do it again next year.
Down to 4.
I got North Carolina. I hope South Carolina wins too, because there's some people that still have Gonzaga, and I want them to lose. So I'm looking for a North and South Carolina final, hopefully. Anyway, Governor, thanks. Good luck in it. They're on.